Don't we all love nakeds, especially when it is the hottest naked bike in town, the hottest new naked bike in town, the Aprilia Tuono 457. It is launched at a staggering price of rupees 3.95 lakhs that makes it more expensive than both of its rivals, the Yamaha MT-03 and the KTM RC 390. But it is the most powerful, at least on paper. We are here in Bangalore riding this beauty up on Nandi Hills and on the highway. So let me tell you that this is the latest from Aprilia. It is the latest, most extravagant but fun naked bike in the market. Now we have extensively ridden the Tuono 457, and before I tell you more about this particular motorcycle that I've ridden for around 150 kilometers up and down the Nandi Hills twice, I want to tip my hat to the RS 457 because yes, according to Aprilia, this is a brand new motorcycle which has been created from ground up, starting with an empty piece of paper. But you have so much recall factor when it comes to riding this motorcycle out on the roads that you have to remember, because I have extensively driven the RS 457, especially on the track and on the roads. Recently, Aprilia concluded the Aprilia Racers Day and I got to experience the prowess of the RS 457. That makes me wonder what actually is the difference between these two motorcycles. Apart from the fact that they look different, they are probably going to cater to two different sets of the market, of the Indian market. This one, of course, has a much agreeable riding position, but the moment you switch on the ignition and give it a throttle, it behaves very differently to the RS 457. The RS 457 has a much swifter acceleration, but this is not a comparison between the two siblings. I know, it's uncanny that whenever you have a successful sibling in the house, the younger siblings are made to compare to them. And that is the exact thing which is going to happen. Even though when I try to judge this particular motorcycle as an individual, I cannot refrain myself from comparing it to the RS 457. Now, it's a good thing that it's already being pitted to a very successful motorcycle that is near perfect in its current condition. Now, talking about the Tuono, the suspension is exactly similar to the RS 457. You get preload suspensions both at the front and at the rear. Now, though our entire track, our entire route did not have a lot of positions where we could actually judge the suspension, this on the road, on normal Bangalore city roads, the suspension felt really good. Now, the RS 457 is slightly more aggressive than this, but the Tuono 457 will not make you feel hungry for more power. The gear shifts, the gear ratios are actually cut very short. So you do find yourself going up and down the gear ratios quite frequently. It has 6 gears and the ratio is, as I mentioned, shorter than the RS 457. What is a problem though is that it does not get a quick shifter as standard. The quick shifter, despite being such an expensive motorcycle, keeping in mind the competition, it does not get a quick shifter as standard. Now, while the tires are Euro grip, the brakes are not the most bitey on this particular motorcycle, and that was the same problem with the RS 457 as well. With the Tuono, you also feel that the brakes could have been better. They are slightly jerky when you actually come to a halt, especially in the sports mode. We've ridden this motorcycle quite extensively, and the first thing that comes to your mind and comes to your notice is how amazing the exhaust note sounds. Let me fire it up for you. I know that full fairing has its own charm, but I absolutely love naked bikes, and the reason is right here. The beautiful engine is always out for you to see, witness, and be glad about. Now, let me first and foremost get into the ergonomics. I am 5'4" and not the most well-built person to ride any bike. So this is my positioning. I am not tiptoeing exactly, but I do not have a flat foot as well. But the weight is very manageable. It's 159 kilograms dry and 175, that is the curb weight, that is 90% when the fuel is filled. It is that heavy, but Now, with the fairing gone, I can have a very agreeable riding position that actually gives me a lot of control and power to hold and ride this motorcycle. If you get on the design, it is a beautiful rendition of the RS457. Now, you do get a couple of things that are absolutely new on this bike. This is not just a naked version of the 457. It has an identity of its own, which is pretty kick-ass, to be honest. In terms of design, it gets a new handlebar, but that's not just a design element. It is something that makes it so ergonomically comfortable and easy to ride. Now, just for a moment, let me appreciate how pretty it looks. Now, there are two polarizing opinions about the design on this bike already. Tell me in the comment section, which particular bike does this face remind you of? Because yes, it is not the Tuono. We have a very interesting fact that when this motorcycle was sketched, it actually had the face of the Tuono 660, and boy, it would have looked so much better. Not that this does not look good, but yes, if you had to really give it the Tuono name, you should have given it a more legacy face. But apart from that, this particular headlight is good nevertheless. Apart from that, you get this grey color, you also have a red color. Now, if we get to the nitty-gritties of the design, you have a simple key, and this is the keychain that they have given us right now. Now, if you come closer, you would see the fit and finish and the quality that is so specific to Aprilia. You get a very nice sturdy handlebar, you get a 5-inch TFT screen with a lot of features that you can see right here. It also gets ABS, you get lap time, you get your speed, you get your top speed. It also gets 3 riding modes. It has a beautiful 2-split seat, which is very plush, to be honest. But first, let me tell you about the important gizmos that are offered on this motorcycle, and that is this beautiful and very important 5-inch TFT screen that has everything you could possibly need, starting with navigation. I mean, in today's day and age, if you do not have navigation on your motorcycle, it does make riding very difficult. Not just that, you also have the ability to connect your phone and your music system. Like, you can connect your app and listen to music. You also get a lot of other information, that is distance to empty, the temperature, the time. This is one of the modes. Let me just change the mode. Eco, Sport and Rain. And the button to change the mode is right here. This is the ignition. The handlebar is really nice, really sturdy, good looking. The plastic quality is also very well. The turn indicators are here. And overall, the fit and finish of this motorcycle is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you have to give it to Aprilia to make such a good looking motorcycle. Now, for the final verdict, allow me to lay it all bare in front of you. This is a pretty perfect proposition, both the siblings, the RS457 and the Tuono 457. For this particular motorcycle, there are probably only 2 main problems that a buyer is going to face. One, the number of dealerships, and the second, it is a very expensive proposition once you add the accessory. Even without the accessory, the price is at 3.95 lakhs. It is the most expensive of its rivals. And once you add the accessory, the most important accessory, it will be even more expensive than the lot. And this comes at a point when the Yamaha has taken a 1 lakh price cut, and the KTM is also pretty inexpensive when compared to this motorcycle. But now the real question is, are you willing to shell that money to get this amount of refinement, this amount of glamour, flavor, and absolute charisma that is attached to Aprilia and this motorcycle? Do let us know in the comment section, what do you think about both the colors that are on offer? Which one of its rivals would you pick? And do subscribe to the ET Auto channel.